This program contains material that may disturb some younger viewers. We advise discretion.
In true New Zealand tradition, he played rugby.
An afternoon in which we certainly have experienced team drama.
And take a round for the big hill there just before Hamilton.
Let me introduce another of my close and personal childhood friends, New Zealand's most famous and prolific actor, Mr. Sam Neill.
He's come to pluck me from obscurity, Jeff. Prepare yourself, boys, for a world where anything is possible. Carpe diem.
The last time, leave Kim on and quit stalking him.
Thanks, Clyde.
No worries.
Whether it's Brotown, Go Girls, or our own nightly soap, Shortland Street, New Zealand drama continues to tell stories about our lives. And over the years, drama makers have brought us some of television's most memorable moments.
When?
Hello, Daddy. I've been brought home.
Well, you'd better come in, both of you.
In the first few years of New Zealand television, there was very little local production, and any drama on our screens came from Britain or America.
Where did you get that hat?
I bought it today.
Well, take it off. You're under my roof.
Bruce Mason's The Evening Paper was only the second locally written drama to make it to our screens, but its reception was far from friendly.
The view was, because it didn't reflect a wonderful view of an idyllic New Zealand, it was a travesty to make it, and we should never make anything like that again.
Well, this play was before the public 12 years. It had been produced 6 times. It had been done on radio. But take it into people's living room, and the potency of it cannot be compared.
You could have had paradise here, the just city. And what have you done? You're all dust and kapok.
Get out of my house at once.
One of the difficulties drama faced was that our actors were from the stage and didn't really understand what television required. Actors' workshops tried to fill the gap.
I think a lot of people who went into television drama in the early days had been members of local amateur dramatic societies.
George! I just heard about you cracking up. Well, I could see it coming.
And they weren't used to having close-ups and things like that. You had to learn a whole different set of rules.
As part of the workshops, 5 plays were produced for television.
Okay, stand by, everybody, please.
I would be glad never to see them again because they must have been awful. It was great fun. None of us had the faintest idea what we were doing.
This old bloke came up to me and said, "What are you doing there?" So I said, "What's that to you?" And he dropped dead.
The actors were as incompetent as I was, and we both admitted it, and we just got on with the job.
Well, how the audience will react? I don't know. Perhaps we should hold a workshop for audiences.
Yes. Public reaction to the occasional attempts at local drama remained unenthusiastic.
What there was that was locally made was appallingly inept.
Look, Jill, darling, can't we get together sometime and work something out?
Aren't we in enough of a mess now?
Oh, for God's sake.
With this sort of histrionic kind of, oh my God, Lydia, we cannot go on meeting like this sort of drama.
What is all this about, Eddie?
Which was part of the instinct for writing Tankbusters.
Probably took us a year to make it, shooting in weekends and when we could borrow gear and borrow film stock and borrow people's time, you know.
Where's the nutty? What? They was made of cardboard. It blew to pieces.
We got a guy who was an actor, a real actor, and he told us the rules. He'd say, well, first of all, one must articulate carefully. So I go, okay, that's not allowed. No articulating carefully. What else? You must project so that your voice carries. No projecting. You should use your hands to express, no gesticulating, you know. So we made this thing, we developed this style of acting which horrified the acting fraternity, you know. They referred to it as mumblefuck.
The major breakthrough came in 1971, when producer Tony Isaac and writer Michael Noonan teamed up to produce the series Pukimanu.
They did this totally Kiwi show, and they absolutely filled it with Māori actors. And the public just went, oh. They just loved it. The country stopped on the nights Pukimanu was on.
It had its enemies, of course, as any project does. People said, we just want to see Maoris doing hakas and dances and things like that.
One episode which I was fortunate to write, Charlie's Rock. About a quarter of the dialogue was in Māori with no subtitles and no translation, and it was kind of interesting to see how that worked. At first, the telephone logs, people were absolutely outraged at Māori being spoken without any kind of translation or being spoken at all. But by the end of the episode, the whole thing had turned around and people were actually really quite delighted that they could know what was going on. The words were being spoken, the drama carried the whole thing.
It's my job to do what's best for the forest.
I guess what we wanted to do then was make a continuing drama, but which had an urban base. Section 7 was based on the probation service officers in Auckland or really anywhere in an urban setting.
According to the woman next door, the coconuts are well behaved.
Coconuts. Great neighbours.
You don't approve?
No, I don't. It's like niggers, nips, whoreys, all the other labels you can think of.
All right, it's offensive, but being offended isn't going to change the attitude. How do you feel about these people coming to New Zealand, John?
But they are New Zealanders.
Obviously, that message hasn't got through.
Well, it's the old story, isn't it? What would you do if your daughter
wanted to marry one? You'd have to ask my mother that.
Don't worry, love, it'll never happen. You haven't got those hula hips.
Television drama had begun to tackle the social issues of the time, and occasionally it led to change. Gone Up North for a while was credited with helping to bring in the DPB.
Relatively certain of a pregnancy of 10 weeks. Can't be 100% sure yet, but... well, there should be no trouble and young and healthy.
Gone Up North for a while. That meant that the baby could be adopted out elsewhere, and that when she came back, there wasn't the stigma attached to an unmarried mother.
Your father's going to have to know. And he's going to have to know now.
You don't have to bring him in.
I'm going to call him in and you can tell him now.
Oh, no, Mum!
You know, it was really bad. They got a benefit for 3 months after birth of the baby, and then that was it. There's nothing.
Who's the joker?
You don't know.
Denise, I think, gave a really good performance. Tugged at the heartstrings.
She's just going to have to go up north and have it somewhere.
I'm not
The
going
Sally's have
away
got hospital
anywhere.
especially for
Why
it.
should I?
So when it was shown, there was quite a response from the public. And, I mean, not too long after, the DPB was brought in.
You come home here and expect me to fix it. Bloody marvellous.
I think it probably did have an influence.
Would you like to meet them? You don't have to. But it does sometimes make it a little bit easier.
Because there was only one channel, everyone watched everything. And then they discussed it the next day. So for me, television was really doing its job then, which was to, you know, to get an educated and informed citizenry.
There was little opportunity for independent producers, but in 1974, Ian Mune and Roger Donaldson were given a chance to tackle New Zealand literature.
And we did a half-hour Catherine Mansfield story called Woman at the Store.
No money, of course, but so exciting. I remember shooting a scene at Bethel's Beach, and I'm holding my key light with one hand and virtually with the microphone there and saying the lines, and I thought, this is so not the UK.
And we tried her out, Nikki Sanderson, and she's just magic. And she utterly knew the darkness of that story. And that screened and took awards and was very successful and things. And so we went back and said, let's do 6 more. And all these people said, yeah, that's good. It never happened now.
Those initial opportunities that Donaldson and Ian Mune and Jeff Murphy in particular got from New Zealand television really gave their careers a boost. I mean, I was well aware of those filmmakers long before they made feature films, and that was through television.
Opportunities for independent filmmakers would be short-lived, however, as the NZBC were already making plans to take drama back in-house.
Sorry, we're absolutely chocker.
Chocker? What is this chocker?
Full up.
In 1974, New Zealand got coloured television, and a group of independent filmmakers were commissioned to make the country's first children's drama series, The Games Affair.
Very nice.
A very good idea. It was a bizarre fantasy film for children that was set during the 74 Commonwealth Games.
The BCNZ agreed to fund it and give us the money. I think we got $96,000 to make 6 half hours, and we made it for a little bit less.
Steady, steady. Fire! Oh, to Lieber Gott!
And in fact, if you think at that time, TVNZ were building the Avalon Studios with the view that everything had to be in-house.
We now had 2 television channels, and one of the first dramas to be made for TV1 at Avalon was the trade union series Moynihan.
We weren't allowed to go too far away from the studio because it cost too much money, but we had a huge building site, and it was full of stunts of men falling off buildings.
Moynihan had a very, very good following because it was about real things.
In 1975, New Zealand got its first soap opera, Close to Home.
Soap operas are never life as it is, but at least it gave us some sort of glimpse of ourselves.
Workshop, Alex. Yeah? It's your missus.
Well, tell her I'll ring her back, will
I think you better take it. She's just praying the car.
It was the first time that there was regular drama, week in and week out, and we all took turns at directing it.
We've got to get this sorted out tonight, so come on. Now, come on!
Close to Home ran until 1983, and by then it was losing its popularity with the television viewers.
When are you actually going to go back to work? I mean, you haven't as much as touched a piece of fuse wire in a week.
That's how you see me, isn't it? A jobbing electrician for the rest of my life. Well, you got 1 or 2 surprises coming, I can tell you.
I don't think it was reflecting any longer New Zealand as it had changed, and I think it was probably time for it to go.
I said to the producer of the day, I'll give you a month to get this right. If not, I'm taking it off. It never got right, so I cancelled it.
Without doubt, the greatest achievement in New Zealand drama in the 1970s was the 6-part historical epic, The Governor.
The Governor went right back to the 1840s and took us through the whole 19th century. And that's why it was such a controversial program, because nobody had dealt with New Zealand society in a public way before it was made. Nobody.
Kids had been taught the good Governor Grey legend. This wise colonial man came and, spread his wisdom through the land. Which, whatever else he did, he was a totally fascinating character, but good he ain't.
When you come with me to South Africa.
What would your wife say?
The Tamahane episode is the one, yeah, absolutely, the most Maori of it.
Then come with us to a runanga of the Waikato chiefs to see who will stand against the greedy Pākehā.
It did, to a degree, deliver on the great Pākehā betrayals.
Someday you will have no land left to dig. The Pākehā will have stolen it all. Because men like you wouldn't fight.
Never do that again, Rewi, or I'll fight you.
Will your Pākehā God allow you to kill me?
Ko tai anō te mea kei roto I tōku hinengaro, ko te maungarongo. Peace between you and I, between us, the Pākehā.
Not peace! Slavery!
It still had, when it started, the highest audience that had ever watched a program in New Zealand. Boom.
While Avalon defended itself over the governor, up in Auckland, John McRae had persuaded South Pacific Television to make a historical drama in central Otago.
We had 3 cameras down there, one to shoot with, one as the spare, and one that was sent back being repaired. And they just went on a circuit like that. No, I don't think any camera lasted more than 3 days, and it was back on the plane to Christchurch.
This Danish chef had been flown in from somewhere, Flash, to cook for the crew, and the food was extraordinary. There was a menu.
Well, if you keep the troops happy, and they were, you know, in central Otago for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
As the 6 months progressed, you could see the production secretary's arse expanding. In fact, everybody sort of expanded on the crew.
And the first thing I hear is a commotion on the diggings because somebody's found gold.
Well, I came straight back here, didn't I?
Well, I played Molly Grogan, the prostitute with a heart of gold, and I had corsets on. So everybody else put on quite a few kilos in weight, but I couldn't because I'd got these really tight corsets.
There they are!
We spent $600,000, and when I went to the board of South Pacific Television to get the funds, they nearly fell over. No, we can't spend that sort of money on a children's program, they called it. But I was proved right and they were proved wrong because it made a huge amount of money, and in the end it did.
20 years after it was made, it was still being sold. There were some countries that were buying a licence for the 3rd time. And that was what McRae said. It's because it's in costume, it doesn't date.
I made a decision that would be our flagship family drama. And so we went on to make a number of them. Gather Your Dreams, Children of Fire Mountain.
Generally, they played at 7 o'clock on a Sunday night, which was a pretty major slot. People did actually sit down as families and watch those shows. They were safe, they were fun, sometimes they were really scary.
I hope the tauhanga's a heavy sleeper. Spooky enough as it is.
But kidults and historical epics weren't the only drama on our screens. We also discovered we could make comedy that made us laugh.
Is the boss in? No. Then it's 8 o'clock.
Situation comedy has presented difficulties for New Zealand television. Buck House was our first serious attempt, but although it ran to a 2nd series, the response from the public was lukewarm.
And I remember at the time people saying, well, it wasn't very bloody funny, was it? And why did he say that'll be the phone when it was obvious it was the phone? And things like that, but they've become iconic comments now.
My friends call me Kenneth, Hugo. My father calls me son. My sister calls me Ken. My mother calls me twice a week. But you, Hugo, may refer to me as Mr. Giles. I see. That'll be the door. I hope you're not going to say that every time somebody knocks. I might well do, Hugh. I might well do.
It was a program which benefited from the development of certain catchphrases and certain regular rhythms in the program. And we didn't always get it right, but a lot of things were tried out in that program and some useful lessons were learnt.
A few years later, we had another go at sitcom when Roger Hall's hit play, Glide Time, was taken from stage to screen. although the initial adaptation for television wasn't a barrel of laughs.
Play was 2¼ hours or so, and they wanted to condense it to about an hour. So they took a lot out, and what they took a lot out of was the humour.
And so when Jim grabs hold of Beryl's bosoms in one scene, it was sort of deeply tragic and ghastly.
Oh, Beryl, I think you're fantastic. Beryl.
Oh, look, Mum,
no
bring
idea
it back.
how much. Beryl, please, just a kiss. Just a kiss.
Mine,
Not the
that's
whole
my
thing,
yogurt.
Beryl, just a bit of a
Jim.
cuddle.
What sort of a person do you think I am?
I'm sorry, Beryl. I'm sorry. I really am sorry. Oh, what must you think of me? What must you think of me? I'm sorry. I really am.
Whereas in the stage play, it brought the house down.
Glide Time eventually became Gliding On, but not after having gone through a lot of hurdles. It was turned down twice as being unsuitable for a sitcom.
My old desk does an arabesque in the morning when I first arrive.
These people are trapped in this situation, and they have to make the most of it all the time. And out of that comes all the comedy of how they cope with it or how they avoid it, basically.
Morning, Beryl.
Morning, you.
I myself was working for the NZBC at the time, so it was a bit like a documentary being in Gliding On.
And if anyone wants to know the precise time, it is now 8:18 and 47 seconds and 48 and 49.
Oh, you got a new watch.
Not a watch, Beryl. A duty-free automatic digital chronometer.
I call it character comedy. It's not so much the situations, but everyone remembers the characters from Gliding On.
Gliding On's characters kept us laughing through 5 series, but there was a lot more going on in television drama in the 1980s.
Country GP was up in the valley behind Upper Hutt, and TVNZ built a post-World War II village.
We all went up there in a big bus and very contained, apart from the weather, of course, but you just went with it. That was the thing about being on staff in the drama department in those days. The independent filmmakers and so on resented us hugely and thought we were literally a sheltered workshop and taking the Queen's shilling and doing very little, but we were actually working very, very hard.
Stand by and action.
Every week we produced 1 hour of television on for a Thursday night. Good drama stories. Every episode was self-contained, but there was through lines going on. It was fantastic.
Right, from the top.
Peter Sharp is the director. Last week he was up at Helensville shooting Mortimer's Patch.
There are scenes in Mortimer's Patch of the 3 policemen arriving. Morning, Bob. Morning, Dib. Where's Mort? He's late. Do you want a cup of tea, Bob? That'd be nice, Dimp. Where are the chocolate biscuits? Mort ate them. In comes Mort. Morning, Mort. Morning, Dimp. Morning, Bob. Morning, Mort. Morning, Dimp. I mean, this scene sort of went on for about 4 minutes before anything dramatically even arrived.
Morning, Sarge.
You're late.
I was held up.
It did a number of things, Mortimer's Patch. It wasn't scared to be controversial.
And today's referee...
Come on, get on with it.
...anxiously skywards as the plane is still buzzing the ground.
One in particular was centred around the 1981 tour. It was set on the Saturday of the match that was to take place in Auckland. 2 young guys broke into the transmitter and severed the connection to South Africa. So the rest of the day for the police was about solving that particular crime and catching these 2 guys.
Let me tell you about my aunt. I used to be Henry.
Just as Mortimer's Patch was coming to an end, independent producers were being given another chance with the 7-part series About Face.
The idea was to give an opportunity for 7 up-and-coming directors and 7 up-and-coming writers.
Jules Dahl probably would have been one of the first serious sort of dramas made about a transsexual or transvestite. Just a day in their life, nothing particularly controversial about the content of the film except the subject matter.
When we made
Jules Dale, the whole kind of agitation for homosexual law reform was absolutely in the air. It was electric. And if you look carefully in the film, there are all sorts of things seeded in the film to do with homosexual law reform.
The Salvation Army, who are absolutely anti-homosexual law reform at that time. They're all in their black uniforms looking fabulous, and me and Richard and our characters, Jewel and Mandy, hide in the McDonald's doorway in Queen Street, and when they got down to about level with us, we just darted out and marched on in front of them.
We kind of got away with it, I think, because it was part of the series. And it wasn't like we were deliberately trying to be provocative. It probably feels, you know, we were just telling stories from the worlds that we knew. You know, there was equally a story from, you know, from Henderson, a working class, you know, family in Henderson.
You speak to Dean today?
I'll see you, all right?
Danny?
Look, I told you, we're going to do all right out of it, okay?
What do you mean we're going to do all right out of it? I thought we talked all this through. You said you'd speak to him.
All right, I will. Just let me finish this, will you, for Christ's sake?
About Face was one of the few opportunities for independence in the 80s. But as we approached the end of the decade, the TVNZ drama department was about to disappear. The TVNZ drama department was under threat. But before it disappeared, it brought us two memorable drama series. The Marching Girls brought us a female cast at a time when women were underrepresented in television drama.
Back in those days, there was usually only one girl, young female, in any kind of a substantial role.
People like Fiona kind of took that into their own hands and changed it by writing roles rather than complaining about it.
And wipe that stupid look off your face, Donna Marie.
It was a kind of an amazing thing to have such a large cast of women and actually some female directors.
No! Stop fighting me!
I want you.
No! Oh! Oh!
Hey, Dor, is he all right?
Mr. Welsh? No, he's got a groin problem. Oh.
I certainly wouldn't say it's down to Marching Girls that opportunities for women on screen got better, because around about the same time there was Gloss.
Of course, when you look at the calibre of the opposition, they made a very obvious and good decision to choose me as Businesswoman of the Year.
A very different scenario and bunch of characters, and yet there again, there were really powerful women leading that ensemble and in the producing and the writing roles as well.
Amanda, I don't think you congratulated me yet.
Congratulated you? What for?
Oh, my wedding.
Oh, that. Well, believe me, quite common. People do it all the time.
You're jealous, aren't you? Both of you are.
Very.
I'd cut down on the drinking if I were you, too, before you say something very foolish you may regret.
I will drink everything I like and no one's going to stop me.
Everyone loves to take the piss out of Aucklanders. And for Aucklanders, it was kind of a bit like a documentary, I suppose, of the people that you'd see, you know, if you wandered down the streets of Parnell, you know, falling out of flash cars in too short dresses after too many glasses of, you know, Bollinger Darling.
When do we join the doll queue?
And what does one wear?
Huge fun to write for, because every nasty remark that you wanted to make to someone you could give to Maxine, and I became such a nice person when I was writing for Gloss.
Don't sneer, Magda. It ruins your looks. And Lord knows you're on the basic minimum as it is.
We were actually filming Gemma's wedding. And it was the scene where the company secretary went mad. She whipped a gun out of her handbag and she shot the company accountant. And she was going to shoot me. And somebody ran up the drive of the church and said, the stock market's just crashed. And we went, so? There was more drama going on for us than any stock market crash.
Over that time, the cast of Gloss were absolute must-haves for all the balls, all the big events. This was the beginning of the celebrity culture in television here.
We'd just finished the third series of Gloss, and I kind of knew that that was going to be the end of Gloss. What I kind of didn't know was that kind of heralded the end of the drama department.
TVNZ was now going to source its drama from independent producers, and one of the first films it commissioned was An Angel at My Table, the three-part adaptation of Janet Frame's autobiography.
We felt we were making something special. You know, it felt like that at the time, and I think that, you know, those feelings sometimes do carry over into the work.
This is the story of my childhood. In August 1924, I was born Janet Patterson Frame. My twin, who was never named, died 2 weeks later.
But she wasn't a popular author, and not even a particularly well-known one. But the series really did a lot to bring Janet's life, and therefore her work, to a much broader range of people.
While An Angel at My Table was being made, New Zealand On Air was being set up to administer the broadcast licence fee, and one of its first projects was Shortland Street.
Shortland Street Accident and Emergency Centre.
We didn't have the infrastructure, but New Zealand On Air saw the creation of a nightly soap as the very best way to build that infrastructure, you know, to have a training ground for people, to really get some experience in drama.
The program opened in May 1992 and the ratings were high, and after that they just plummeted, and they kept falling for about 6 or 7 months, and they kept falling and falling and falling and falling and falling, and the network was really concerned. And the deal was you had to run it for a year, and somewhere about 6 months in, it started to turn. And, you know, 18 years later, here we are.
It's not working, is it?
You're doing fine, Lisa, just fine. That's the way.
And there's a line that Tim Morrison said to this poor woman who's just given birth. Now, I've delivered the placenta now, Mrs. So-and-so. Well, when the executives saw this episode, they said, you can't say that at 7 o'clock at night. So we changed the line to...
OK, Lisa, we can tidy up now.
I'll tidy you up.
Take it easy.
So that was the birth of Shortland Street, the first episode.
One of the things about it was very racially diverse. And because we needed good stories and good chops to chew on, we used sort of issues of the time.
Get off me! Get off me! Calm down! Shut your mouth and do what I tell you.
There is no way that you can possibly acknowledge Shortland Street enough for what it's done for New Zealand television drama. That kind of constant presence of New Zealand actors, New Zealand accents, New Zealand stories on screen.
Me and your mother, Marco, we love you so much. We're never going to forget you.
It's done the hard work in terms of making New Zealand drama more acceptable to us.
I think Shortland Street will go on forever and ever and ever and a day, and I hope it does. It's probably one of the best shows anybody can ever work on, train on, and be a part of.
I drove home drunk last night, and I hit Morgan Braithwaite. I killed her.
Shortland Street's success was followed by more drama productions, and in 1995 we got to revisit recent political history with Fallout.
Oh, Fallout was this wonderful mix of journalistic detail and analysis of what had happened at the time of the snap election.
The night of the snap election was extraordinary. There was the Governor-General up at the Government House. They was pissed as farts. There was a whole lot of newspaper editors. They were all drunk.
In short, a man is vegetable, animal and mineral. He is the very model of a modern Governor-General.
Muldoon was down at Parliament drinking whiskey and having rows with Marilyn Waring and Don McKinnon trying to mediate.
Come on, Madam President. We're going to talk to the press.
I'm not ready. I look dreadful.
Rob. So the evening was so heady and so rich with drama, I thought, this is the stuff which a screenwriter couldn't make up.
Tom Scott had all that detail from all his years in the press gallery. All of the stuff that, of course, people in the press gallery never write about. The lovely stories about Muldoon's staff letting down the tyres of his car so that he couldn't drive home because he was too drunk to walk.
2 punctures, Don.
One of the difficulties about writing those sorts of things is that they are, you have to be really brave, because they're about people who are still alive and are often highly litigious.
Sir, why don't you do the consistent and honourable thing and pull out of ANZUS?
I was just getting to that if you just hold your breath for a moment. I could smell the uranium in it as you leant toward me.
Go get him, Dad!
1995 was also the year of one of television's most notorious failures.
I'm in charge here. For the next 5 3/4 hours, Melody rules.
I'm responsible for Melody Rules, and I find it utterly fascinating that it must be 20 years since we made that program, and just 2 weeks ago in The Listener, yet again, Melody Rules was pulled up as an example of, you know, the worst comedy ever made.
A monkey stole your passport, but you'd remember him again. Good.
It was a turkey. It was a complete and utter turkey.
Melody Rules wasn't the only drama to attract scorn from the critics.
Well, I love city life. Fast, vibrant, really up my alley. Handheld, whip pans, cross the lines, mixing up music. Everything, the whole thing was beautiful. I loved every second of it.
I'm still not quite clear why it got such a bad reception. Part of it, I think, was the hyper camera activity.
Why is my apartment full of people? What with Damon and the world thing? I thought a party was in order.
It would be 9 years before we got another series about a group of 20-somethings.
Looking good, kid.
And by the time The Insider's Guide to Happiness arrived, New Zealand drama was on the rise.
The rescue message of rocks, and now has suggested we break into 2 tribes to increase our chances of survival.
The last 10 years have seen a number of successes for New Zealand drama. Brotown was our first animated comedy, and The Boys from Morningside were an instant hit for TV3.
They're actually based firmly on 4 actual people who we just happened to have a brainy one, a smooth, good-looking ladies one, a cheeky, feisty one, and a little bit gay one. I'm not saying that Dave's a little bit gay.
A lot of the kids, they was referring to Mac as, oh, the gay one, the gay one. So no, he's not gay. No, he's not gay. And then finally it's just a realisation for him. And being able to tell the kids, yeah, he came out. And I said, you see, I told you.
We love it here, but that doesn't mean we want to get stuck here.
My family doesn't even know I exist now.
My mum's reading the minister. Our dad loves his horse more than us. And his pier. And his pawn.
How can we get out when everyone thinks we're dumber?
We say every day, and that is why I think I'm gay. There you go.
And then we added Jeff, the Maori, who ended up being the most popular character.
And the nicest one, eh?
Yeah, and the nicest one.
He's the nicest boy of the boys.
Yeah.
Because he's not based on any of us, so it's quite...
Yeah.
Auntie, how come I have to move to the city with my mum and my 8 dads?
Better TV reception, boy, and we don't have any more land for you to play on.
How come?
The bloody thieving colonialists stole it all. Can you say that, boy? Bloody thieving colonialists?
Bloody... Nah, it's too long now.
That's all right, boy. Just call them Pākehās.
No mai, hare mai.
TV3 also brought us the Māori drama series Mataku.
Kia ora, I'm Te Moira Morrison, and welcome to Mataku.
We wanted to portray stories that were true to us. So we just started writing stories in our own families, really. All the ghosts and kehuas are in our families. Yeah, that's what happened to my auntie and blah, blah, blah. And people call them superstitions, but in reality, they may be, but they're actually real-life situations that happen in our families. Mataku was something where we could use the format of drama, of Twilight Zone, because the media world understood that, but transfer that into a Māori storytelling concept that was real for us. I wasn't making it for television or anyone. I was making it so that my family could watch it and go, yeah, bro, that's true. Actually, that's actually what happens to us.
Over on TVNZ, we went back into the countryside for Mercy Peak, a series that introduced a group of characters who would eventually re-emerge in West Auckland.
Hey, listen, just put a sock in it, okay?
And there was a white trash family in Mercy Peak called the Van der Velters, and I thought, who had a raft of social problems.
You're off your bloody rocker, girl. You are. You're cracked in the head, aren't you?
Sorry, Hank. I didn't want to kill you. I just wanted some peace. That's all. Hail Mary, full of grace. The Lord is with thee.
Come on, come on. You want some peace, do you?
And blessed is the fruit of the womb, Jesus.
And they were very colourfully played by a wonderful cast of actors, including Anthony Starr.
Dad, get out of here!
And I looked at them and thought a funny version of them would work well.
It's not about a family in West Auckland. The fact is, it's actually about family, and the fact that people throughout the country love it really says that, you know, it touches a chord with them.
Pascal West! Hello, everyone. Yes, I am Pascal West, and I was born right here in West Auckland into a poor and dysfunctional family.
Hell.
But that has not stopped me from living my dream and having the amazing idea that has changed my life and will soon change yours.
You know, you look at Munter and Van, that's a love affair.
We're just two cats swimming in a big ocean, bro.
Can cats swim?
We can. We catfish.
It's two blokes and how they respond to each other.
Yeah, man.
And there is Cheryl West trying to hold her family together regardless of what's going on. And that's the stuff of real drama.
Part of the idea of Outrageous was I heard that the median income for women in New Zealand was something like $14,000. And I was shocked and went, wow, that is not much money. Why don't more people turn to crime?
Why does everyone seem afraid?
Mom's cutting loose. It happens every year. It's like a symbol of her leaving behind the outside world by getting pissed.
Well, yeah, but why is everyone afraid?
You'll see.
It is, at its heart, an old-fashioned family story about a mother who wants the best for her children. But if you wrote it up in kind of in plain sense like that, no one would commission it because it would be too boring.
The thing is, you're the man now, death row. Sorry, man. And it's your job to be in charge. Mom.
TV3 encouraged us to take risks because they wanted to attract attention with the show.
But drama hasn't always been about major series. Since the early days of television, one-off plays have brought important stories to our screens. Piece of My Heart dealt with the subject of adoption in the 1960s.
I think Piece of My Heart was a story which needed to be told and was ready to be told.
What if we did it together? The babies. If there was two of us, we could do it. One would get a job and the other one could look after the babies. Bags are the babies.
Obviously, these girls, they had sex. They weren't supposed to. They got pregnant, and then they were faced with a gut-wrenching disgrace, and in many times being expelled from their families, being hidden away, being taken out of school. But physically and mentally, a terrible ordeal.
Who took our babies?
They're not your babies.
Yes, they are.
You promised. I said I could make certain arrangements. On consideration, I've decided against it.
We signed the papers.
Did you read them?
You told us what they said.
Never sign anything without reading it, Flora. Those were consent forms. You have legally given Francis and Kevin for adoption, and their families have taken them home.
Some people thought that that was, you know, highly overdramatic, but actually it did happen.
At its best, New Zealand drama has raised issues, entertained and given us a glimpse of other lives. And it seems that today we're much happier to see ourselves on screen.
I think what's changing since I started on Shortland Street is that the cultural cringe seems to have gone, and there is no longer that feeling of embarrassment that people used to have about New Zealand shows.
How we feel about ourselves is often reflected in what we make on television and what we see on television and how we go about making those things. And our film industry is just so much stronger because of the strength of the drama industry on television.
So thank God for New Zealand On Air. It's been really good.
Hello, Tawa, and good evening, New Zealand.
Do we really sound like that? It's half a century of discovery.
And that I thought was a real characteristic of New Zealanders.
Kiwis in search of their identity.
It changed my viewpoint.
We are a very creative nation.
From acceptance.
It gave them a sense of identity.
To outrage.
Sure, the G's for gay.
What did you call us? The gay capital of New Zealand.
Prime presents 50 years of New Zealand